Hello and welcome back. Today, as we continue our journey into the Christmas story using monologues from Rachel Mann's book, A Star-Filled Grace, we hear from two of the Magi.
A reading from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising, and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means the least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learnt from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child. And when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there, ahead of them, went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And, having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road.
The religious people love to talk of journeys and pilgrimages. It makes them feel better, I think. I can think of few worse things. The journey we undertook was arduous, exhausting, and terrifying. Camels died, servants abandoned us, arguments broke out. We wasted time chasing rumours of good news that proved empty contricks. We were treated with suspicion in a dozen villages. The closer we got, the more I wanted to turn around. That might sound strange, but what if we only found an empty consolation? What if all we found was nothing? We had left our homes because of dreams, promises and prophecies. I think many of us were on the lookout to prove how clever we were, that we could read the promise of justice and a better world in the skies. What did we find? A family with nothing, living in squalor, trying to live with a little dignity. We found a child, a perfectly ordinary child. That hardly makes it sound worth it. No one needs to travel half a world to find an ordinary child and a family with nothing. But sometimes we have to be prepared to travel to see the ordinary, all right? We had to lose almost everything we had. We had to travel to the seat of one kind of power, the paranoid power of a leader who could be terrified by a child, to see what real power looks like. We had to travel from home, sure of our own power, of our riches and vision and brilliance. And we arrived at the infant, ready to receive good news. And we returned home by another route, no longer comfortable with our old certainties.
I've been looking at the night sky my whole life. I dreamt I walked the length of the Milky Way. I thought as a child that it was the path to heaven. Do stars tell us anything? They tell us about the visions of the powerful and ambitious for sure. Like Berenice's hair, a constellation named in honour of an Egyptian king. Or the Pleiades, the daughters of Zeus. Stars show us our dreams and our projections. I have my own theory. They're just light. Light from another time, another age. Light reaching us, pointing the way. That's what I thought when we saw the star. That's what convinced me to leave home. That's what I found to be true. After the countless miles, the dead ends, and finally our discovery of the child. A star gives itself to show the way. It dies in its giving. It is the grace that has no concern for itself. It might be named in honour of the powerful, but it offers itself for all, and it pointed us to the true light of the world. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route.